Hey everybody, it's Peggy. I'm back again with another reading. This time I am using my favorite, the Practical Tarot Wisdom with the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck. So this is my favorite deck. This is my favorite deck in the whole wide world. So yeah, Lisa's just going to have to deal with the fact that I'm going to use this deck once in a while. So today's reading for the week ahead, for the collective. By the way, if you shuffle in reverses, don't forget to reverse your reverses every now and again. Just flip everything around. I just poke the middle, right? Give it a little shuffle, do whatever. Because if you just do your reversals, if you just shuffle in your reversals and then never reverse the reversals back to reversals, then you're just going to have the exact same cards coming up in reverse all the time. You don't really get a chance for any randomization if you don't do that. Anyway, that's for those of you who read reversals. I don't read reversals. Man, that was crappy. Look at that crappy rifling job. Anyway, so yes, I do read reversals. Generally speaking, the reversals are mitigating, to me, how I read them. They're mitigated by whatever else is going on in the reading. Sometimes they're a good thing, sometimes they're a bad thing, but they're our thing. And I'm just going to get to it. I don't need my little notebook today because the meanings are right there. I can just double check everything as I go, and I'm going to do a 3-card reading. And I'm probably, because I have the extra cards for it, I'm going to do a, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? Screw this. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to reshuffle this. I'm going to do a Celtic Cross because I've got, this deck is great for Celtic Cross because when I do a Celtic Cross, because I'm referring to the book so much, I find that I can only really do a Celtic Cross if I'm using this deck. And I got no problem with that. This is my favorite deck. I love that the descriptions are already on the deck. I am gonna just extol the virtues of this deck forever. So Celtic Cross is 1 down, 1 across. Now I forget the sequence that you're supposed to do. And I'll tighten these up so that you can see them. Can we see them all? No, not necessarily. Let's see. We're going to get that down here, that down here, that down here. This will barely fit. Let's see. Oh, it fits. It fits. And then I'm just going to tuck these at little angles. Okay, and then we're just going to do the reading. So I'm going to open this up a little bit on this side because once you open these two up, so now I never remember what's what. I always have to go look it up. So let's just muddle through. Okay. Let's see if let's pause this. So I'm going to do a Celtic Cross because I can. And I actually had to stop, go grab the wife and say, okay, remind me which is which. Now, so you've got the heart of the issue, what crosses the issue, the conscious influence, the unconscious influence, the past, the future. So this is the heart of the issue. What was the past for that issue? What is the future for that issue? Internal influences down here at the bottom, external influences, the greatest hope, greatest fear, and the key to the outcome. Now you can just put the whole thing up. You can just have the whole thing started visible. That's entirely up to you. It's easier for me, and I will say most people that I'm aware of, but it's not like I know everybody. A lot of people start off with these down just to aid in focus. Okay, so we're going to go through this. So this is still, what does your week ahead, what is the current issue that the universe wants us to be aware of? How is that going forward? This is still a reading for the collective, message from the universe, but this is what we're doing. Okay, this crosses the issue. I'm just going to move that out of the way for now. Now don't forget that the way I do my cards is positive. If it's upright, then when I'm using this deck, if it's upright, then this is at the top. If it's down here, then it's the reversed. So, and I do reversals. And again, for me personally, reversals aren't very earth-shattering. They're just like, oh, you should be aware of this. So, heart of the issue is death, and that is change. Change happens. Can I get to? Okay, I'm not going to worry about. I'm just going to read these off. So I'm not going to. If I take the time to make sure every single thing is in focus, I'm going to have a 40, 50-minute reading. Change happens. Rich or poor, we all face an inconsistent world. The skeletal rider brings news of something ending. So we're dealing with change. We are all dealing with change. So that's not a surprise that there's going to be that message coming through for the week. So change happens, rich or poor, we all face an inconsistent world. This skeletal rider brings news of something ending. Don't fear the messenger. No matter how you fight it, this transition is inevitable. Remember, your flexibility will save you. So flexibility, so something's changing and we need to be flexible. And again, this was upright. So this is not, it's upright. It's not a change that very many of us are going to look at as negative. It might not be fun, but it's not necessarily going to be negative. Like if you're starting a new job, that's exciting, but it's a change, right? It's not negative. So what is crossing the issue? And now when I pull a card, like when I'm pulling cards this way, then obviously this is upright and this would be reversed. This is again upright. Knight of Pentacles, examine your finances. If you have monetary concerns, this card suggests the best solution is a slow and steady approach. Okay, so you've got a change coming. And right now, what's crossing this is the need to not be in a huge rush to force sudden, rapid change. Okay, that's pretty good. I can deal with that. I mean, these two cards definitely integrate well in this. I'm not seeing any inconsistencies. Yeah, check your bank balance. Is it time to get serious about budgets? Any job or business venture you should start right now will flourish. So, I mean, this is a really good point, because when you've got change coming up and you're making yourself aware of your resources, then things that you do, especially if they are related to money, will have a much higher chance of success. So what is the past of this issue? So this is upright, so we're good. 8 of Cups. Baggage check. Time to let those old tapes run out. Put on your walking shoes so you can continue leaving the past in the past. So basically, in your past or in your recent past, there are some things that you just kind of let go of because they weren't working for you anymore. Now, this can be a job that has no future. This can be a bad relationship. I don't know. It can be something that mattered to you, and maybe you just stopped playing your favorite video game and now you have more time for something else. Who knows? It can be anything. But yeah, so baggage check. So you have just recently dealt with some baggage, and the card is upright. So it was when I'm looking at it this way, it's like, okay, so the card is upright and it's in the past. So you dealt with some baggage and the outcome for you was pretty positive and generally tended to fall in your favor. If it had been reversed, it was like, okay, it was still necessary, but maybe you're still not feeling good about it yet. But no, you are in terms of embracing change, you're in a pretty good position, because whatever baggage was holding you back is leaving you in a good place. So future, so this can be the future. This isn't necessarily the future that's going to happen, but it's always the future that you're wishing for, that you're hoping for. What is it that you're hoping to accomplish? And again, we're upright. Everything's upright. So this is still pretty positive. 7 of Cups. Sparkly, shiny distractions are everywhere. You could lose yourself in a daydream today. Planning for a multitude of futures can be time-consuming. Consider picking one of those brilliant musings to work on for a more concrete response. Daydreams aren't bad. You just have to commit to one of them. So in this context, okay, so you let go of some you let go of some garbage that was holding you back. You're now ready to embrace change. You either are aware, or now I'm telling you to become aware that you don't have to force this to happen in a hurry. Make sure that you have the resources in place to make sure that change goes as well as possible. And the future of this, 7 of Cups isn't about the 7 of Cups, the daydreams. It's the daydream. It's the daydream card. It's not bad. You don't have choices if you don't dream about the possibilities. So, yeah, you just have to commit to one of them. So, the future, what you're looking forward to now is picking your next, is the ability to choose what your next big thing is going to be. So that's where this is leading, and it makes sense. It's pretty linear. So your conscious influences, these are things that you're aware of. These are things that you know about. Now this is the Hierophant. Wait a second. It's upright. So I try to make sure that I'm turning it in the same way I would have turned it if I were drawing the card. Okay, the Hierophant. This is a good time to explore prayer, meditation, or whatever you use to talk to your higher power. Be confident that you have the information you need, while remembering to admit that those areas where you need more knowledge. Watch for a unique key to unlock a mystery. Okay, so if you're planning for which daydream you want to turn into a reality, then obviously, if you're not already here, you know you need to be here. to sort it out, to explore, think about, decide what you want. I can decide on a whole bunch of things, but knowing what's in your best interest, that sort of thing. So this is all still connected. You've got some changes coming up. You've got some decisions to make. You've got options. You've got things to choose from. You just need to settle down and choose it, and you're in a good position to do that. So the good news is that whether you're paying attention to this or not, you have already automatically been putting in the work to think about what you want and to build that confidence, get the information that you need, look into this. So you're already, this may be something that you might still be in the daydream stage. It might be something that you haven't really realized that you can bring to reality yet, but you've already done a fair amount of the work, whether you realize that you have or not. Okay, this is your unconscious influence. This is negative. This is, not negative. This is reversed. So, and when I have a reversal, I tend to put them at an angle just so that I remember that that's the side that was up. So reap the benefits of hard work. There may be a lack of direction around you. Pick up the tools you need to do the work. Your zeal for control could be a stumbling block. Generosity pays for itself. Sweat equity works better than a cash handout. Lead by doing. So the negative aspect of this is the things that the unconscious influences are. The unconscious influences in a situation like this are just to simply go, oh, but I shouldn't have to do the work. I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have. Holding yourself back with your own self-limiting thoughts, with your own self-limiting behaviors. You're already in a good position. So just don't fall all over yourself. Don't become your worst enemies. So in its positive, it's pick up the. So basically, your unconscious influences. Maybe you're just afraid of change. Well, if you're afraid of change, you're going to bring the negative aspects of this idea of picking up the tools you need to do the work. Your zeal for control could be a stumbling block. It's like maybe this relies on you relying on somebody else, and so your zeal for control could be a stumbling block. So maybe the people that you need to reach out to make this happen are people that you're not so sure of. You're not quite sure what to do. Maybe you don't feel like you'll have enough control. Maybe you feel the need to be in charge and you need to give some control to somebody else. It's not a bad thing. The King of Pentacles, puts in the King of Pentacles puts in the work and takes on a leadership role. The negative of that is putting in the work and taking on a leadership role might be something that you need to not do quite as much of. You still need to put in the work. You still need to take on the role, but maybe you need to share that with somebody else. That might be how it looks in your particular world. But like I said, the negative of this is to kind of become your own worst enemies by not wanting to be generous. Sweat equity works better than a cash handout. So maybe the negative of this for you is like, well, if I just pay for this, I can get ahead faster. It's like, sure, but are you going to get the same rewards out of it? I want to do blah, but once I pay all these people to do it for me, I won't make any money. Obviously money is usually a key indicator. I'm seeing cups, and that is, that's death. That's pentacles. These are both pentacles, so that does have Pentacles has a relationship to money, so that could be a thing. But yeah, I don't see this as being horrible. I see it as being, don't take on the negative elements of the King of Pentacles. So whatever the King of Pentacles means for you, it doesn't mean that's what you're doing, but the unconscious influence, the tendency to want to do this, and it's talking about doing the work. It's talking about sweat equity. So in this case, and this is talking about what seems to be possibly related to business type ventures or something like that. I have a feeling that that's where this is going for a lot of people. So whatever's going on, don't give in to the urge to shortcuts. If you are a shortcut minded person, because it's easier, shortcuts are always easier. So if that's where your tendencies are, take a second look at that, because maybe in order to make this happen, you're going to have to take on more of the work. More of the responsibility. The responsibilities that you do tend to over control, you need to maybe thinking about giving them up. This is kind of about, not opposites, but yeah, I'm overstating that card because it's negative, but everything else seems pretty good. So I don't want you to scare yourself by going, I can't make this happen because now that I've brought this to my conscious focus, these are all the roadblocks that are stopping me, and it's not. It's really not. Okay, internal influences. This is the things that you are thinking. This is the things that are going on inside you. Seven of Pentacles. Money issues benefit from another look. Oh, this is kind of off the thing. Money issues benefit from another look. Check on your budget. Check on your budget to this point. And again, I mentioned money, and I do think it has something to do with financial opportunity for a lot of people. And this is not about making money. This could be about finding a really cool discount or deal that's going to make your life better in other ways. We don't know, right? I know how I would look at it for myself. You got to decide how this means for you. So, money issues benefit from another look. Check on your budget to this point. Do you need to tighten your belt, or can you loosen it just a notch? It's also time to reevaluate current projects. Make sure you're being very thorough so that you don't miss anything. Evaluate your progress before proceeding. So this goes back to this. Don't give in to the urge to jump onto shortcuts, because your internal influences are, this is something, these two are kind of at odds with each other. Because this is this is the unconscious influence to this, and this is your unconscious influence, and they're both kind of saying the same thing. Don't take shortcuts. Put in the work. Make sure you put in the work. Make sure your ducks are in a row. So these two are both telling you the same thing. And, evaluate your progress before proceeding. Make sure you can afford it. Whatever's going on, make sure it's within your capacity to do. And that is, like I said, if you need to go take a course, take a course. If you need to work with somebody who's taken the course, that's where you're at with that. This is not the let's make this as this is not a card that makes this impossible. It does talk a lot to not being in a rush, slowing down, and making sure you're sorting your stuff out as you go, so that you're not going to stumble into a bigger mistake. So this is external influences. This is reversed. So this is the devil reversed. This message is about your own addictions. Now this is external influences, which is interesting. As an external influence, how much power do you give to those things that do not serve you? Let this card remind you to stand up, cast off your self-imposed chains. The power is in your hands. As soon as you take it back, start living for yourself. Well, your external influences see this in reverse, which I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how I would want to read this. I'm trying to do this relatively quickly, so I'm not giving myself as much time. I will say, think about the devil card. Think about how that matters to you. And this is an external influence. So these are things like this message is about your own addictions. How much power do you give those things that do not serve you? So the external influence is maybe people and situations in your world right now that's going, don't worry about that. Let's just do this. Don't worry about that. Let's just do that. So there may be people that, I don't want to say people that aren't supporting you, because that's not necessarily what I'm seeing here. But I'm seeing the people who are supporting you are they're not as excited about this as you are. So they're come on, don't worry about that. Let's just go out for dinner and not worry about it. Let's go to a movie and forget about it. Let's do this, let's do that. Let's just ponder on this one for a minute. Let this card remind you to stand up, cast off your self-imposed chains. The meaning is the same, whether this is upright or reversed, but the reversed, this is in the external influences card, and it's reversed. So I would suggest that with the positioning of the card, with the current context of the meaning, that this to me would say that we are looking at external influences, obviously, that's what it says, that are minimizing this. Oh, it's not going to make a difference. Or this. Okay, think about it. Take your time. Do this, do that. Oh, I've got all the time in the world. I can go do this for a while and not worry about it. I can ignore this. This isn't that big of a deal. And this is not necessarily people who don't support you, because that's not necessarily what this is about. But this is people who are affecting your priorities or affecting how you see your priorities. And this is, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Stand up, cast off your self-imposed chains. If you don't do that, you're not going to help. You're going to make this so much harder for yourself. The change is coming. The death card is there. This change is coming. You're not stopping it. You are not stopping it, but how this is going to impact you and how you're going to feel about it is going to be affected by things like this. So we could leave the devil upright or reversed as an external influence, As an external influence, these are things that are coming to you from outside of yourself. Maybe you're just really fucking busy with the kids. The kids aren't devils. They're not doing anything to you, but it is a self, those are, okay, as if it's the kids, you're super busy with the kids, then the devil reversed is not about your self-imposed chains. It's about chains that can't be avoided. So this could literally be about other responsibilities and obligations that are clouding the rest of this for you. I know I'm really over focusing on this devil card. It's a major arcana. It's the only other one that we have. So we've got this and this, these two together. Change is inevitable. Don't let this hold you back. Now, if you're in this situation, then you may be limited by these things, and it might be outside of your control. That might be why the card is reversed. There could be elements that are limiting this, that are outside of your control, that you're either going to have to wait it out, work it out, find a way around it, right? It doesn't make this impossible, but it does make this an important element to be aware of. Okay, next, the world. Okay, and this is in greatest hope, greatest fear. So greatest hope, greatest fear is a really interesting thing. This is how Lisa has always done her Celtic Cross readings and where she's always assigned her meanings. And this is how I've always done them. Now, the greatest hope and the greatest fear is always the same thing. So your greatest hope is to succeed beyond your wildest dream. Well, okay, you succeed beyond your wildest dreams, and now you've got $20 million in the bank. I mean, obviously, I've got to use examples that are super, super obvious to make the point, because how this is going to look for you is going to be different, right? So now you've got $20 million in the bank, and all of these people and situations and problems that were in your life. So these people that just, you've cut them out of your life for good reason, that bully from high school, that, obnoxious cousin who treated you like crap, whatever, right? Those toxic coworkers that you were glad to get rid of when you got that new job. Your wildest success could see these people trying to insinuate their way back into your life. It might. So massive success is awesome. It's amazing. It's great. It's wonderful. But it sometimes comes with a price, and sometimes, depending on our situation, we can be almost crippled worrying about what the price might be. Okay, and like I said, people talking about money as it's always the single best example, because when somebody just recently was saying how they had a relative who they didn't get along with, who was not really part of their life anymore. Just see you at the family picnic, and that's about it. And they came into some money, and suddenly this person wanted to play BFFs. And that was stressful. There was reasons to try and get along with this person, even though there was nothing. And now that they came into some money, this person wanted their fair share of it. You have money, why aren't you doing this for me? So that being the single best and most obvious example is the only reason why I'm using this as an example. This could be you getting a new job. Okay, you get a new job, but it requires you to move. So your wildly successful promotion might come with a very scary relocation. So this is why sometimes getting exactly what you want can be a very scary situation to be in. So your greatest hope and your greatest fear is the extreme. It's the world is like, wow, oh my God, this is awesome, this is great. Everything's exactly the way I want it to be. And again, I'm reaching for big examples just to make the point. It's up to you to decide what your inevitable change is. That's up to you to decide. But sometimes there is a fear of success is a real thing. Let me just cut right to the chase and stop babbling. Fear of success is a real thing, because with success comes big changes, and big changes usually leave somebody somewhere unhappy or create a backlash. Like I said, this friend who came into some money, and suddenly these people who wanted nothing to do with them in the past suddenly wanted to be their best friend. It was stressful. It was unpleasant. Their success came at a cost. They navigated it and things got better, but it was still not pleasant. So winning winning didn't necessarily always feel like winning at first until, she had to create boundaries with people that she had to do it all over again with those people, right? So winning sometimes feels like it's coming at a cost or an adjustment or a transition. And sometimes those costs and transitions initially can feel daunting. So greatest hope, greatest fear is to make it, is to get there. So the key to the outcome is the Two of Cups. So everything else is here. So the key to the outcome, Two of Cups, someone has their eye on you. Hold your hand out to someone to find out how they feel. A good environment exists for starting up a new romance or partnership or deepening an existing one. Express yourself to that special someone in ways that show you are sincere. Review all current relationships. So this goes back. Let's swing it all the way back to here about don't be in a hurry. Examine all your stuff. Don't give in to the urge to pick up the tools you need to do the work. Your zeal for control could be a stumbling block. Remember what I said earlier in the reading is your need to be in charge and fully in charge and not share, that's not quite right. And this being in the negative, this being in the reverse implies that might be a bigger challenge than you would like to admit that it's going to be. So review the people in your life that could be helping you here, that you may be just not reaching out. Well, but then I wouldn't be 100% in charge. Remember I said that earlier, right? So that could be. So the key to the outcome does kind of swing back, for me at least, back to the King of Pentacles about, okay, take your time to think about it, take your time to sort it out, examine your finances, check your bank balance. Any job or business venture you start right now will flourish. You'll be fine. But, and this is talking about hold out your hand to someone, you find out how they feel. A good environment exists for starting up a new romance or partnership or existing a deepening one. So, and this may for you be 100% about relationships. I mean, everybody's own personal wants and needs and situation is always going to overlay these readings. So I'm looking at it as with the Pentacles being the direct overlay, and the King of Pentacles being the biggest unconscious influence. I see, and the Seven of Pentacles, I see a money connection here, and internal influences. I do see that being a connection, and the cups also can speak to prosperity and things like that. Well, this is leaving behind things that aren't working. Figure out what your options are. Pick one, pursue it. Don't give in to the urge to be so much in control that you're losing opportunities for beneficial partnerships that are going to help you get through this. Don't be afraid to do the work. Put in the work. Don't take cheap shortcuts, but don't take the micromanager, I must always be in charge, hardline approach either. That's what this is all about. So this one is about someone has their eye on you. There is somebody out there. There is somebody that's right now that is in a great position to be that person for you that's going to help you realize all this in the best possible way. That's where this is winding up for me. And there's only really a couple, the Seven of Cups is a warning to pick one. Don't try to pursue it. Don't try to do it all at once. Knight of Pentacles, examine your finances. So a lot of good advice on take your time, make sure that you've got what you need. Make sure you've got what you need in place. The change is going to happen anyway. And this is the issue that's kind of going on right now. So maybe it's not, maybe the change isn't going to happen for months, but the writing is on the wall and you know it's coming, right? So even though it might not be happening today, you know that it's coming. As of today, you know this change is coming, and everything else about this reading is prepare for it, and here's how you do it. And that is it. That is my reading. That is the message from the universe for this week. This is a bigger reading, so bigger readings like this do, personally, in my opinion, tend to reach beyond the immediate future, so that is something to keep in mind and be aware of. And other than that, I think I'm good with the reading that I've given as is, and I don't personally see a whole lot else. I think I'm pretty done. I think I've pretty much covered everything that needs to be covered. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts, ideas, and opinions on this reading. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How did it work for you? Did it work for you? Did this reading affect you in any way? Because I always love to hear back on that. Oh, I was thinking blah, and then this happened. And don't forget, Don't forget, if you've got a pretty stable, easy life, this could be all about your decision to get a cat. These do not have to be major, huge life changes coming your way, but whatever this is will tend to have a longer lasting ramification than just whether or not you're going to have a good week. This could lead to some pretty big things for you, but that's for you to decide what that thing is. But these are your instructions to make sure that you get through it and come out the end in the most positive, beneficial way possible. And that's it. That's my reading. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things. You guys know the deal. And in the meantime, I will let you go. I will look forward to your comments, and I will be back for another one later. Bye.